So we have discussed the spermatogenesis and the oogenesis. Now we will discuss the fusion, that is the fertilization. How does the fertilization will occur between the between the sperm and the gamete, which is known as the male gamete or the female gamete. Fertilization, we will start with this lecture with the fertilization because we have completed our male and female reproductive system. So let's start with the fertilization. Fertilization, that is the fusion of male and female gamete, that is sperm plus ovum will give you zygote. Sperm, which is haploid in nature, ovum, which is again haploid in nature, which forms the structure called zygote. This is the process which takes place in the ampulla isthmus region, that is the region of fallopian tube where the fertilization is occur. Now we will see what are the post fertilization events, that is zygote has been formed. zygote तो बन गया है, अब zygote के अंदर कैसे क्लीवेज होते हैं, कैसे डिवीजन होते हैं और किस तरीके से जो zygote होता है वो एम्ब्रियो में कन्वर्ट होता है, फीटस में कन्वर्ट होता है और किस तरीके से कंप्लीट बेबी का फॉर्मेशन होता है. Now next topic after fertilization is the post fertilization events. Post fertilization events consists of formation of morula, then blastulation, that is the formation of blastula, then gastrulation, that is the formation of gastrula. We know that zygote has been formed. This zygote is formed in the ampulla isthmus region. Now this zygote undergoes cleavage to form. This zygote undergo cleavage to form two cell stage structure. This will again undergo division to form the four cell structure. These are what? These are the cleavage, that is the mitotic division occurring in the fallopian tube only. Zygote is dividing mitotically in the fallopian tube only. Now this 4 cell structure is formed, the 8 cell structure, and after this 8 to 16 cell structure or cell stage is got. इसके बाद cell 8 to 16 cell stage हमें देखने को मिलेगी, which is known as morula. 8 to 16 cell structure is known as morula. That structure is known as morula, and these cells are basically known as blastomeres. The cells which formed after division is known as blastomeres. ये सारे इवेंट्स फेलोपियन ट्यूब में हो रहे हैं, दैट इज ज़ायगोट में हो रहे हैं जो फेलोपियन ट्यूब में ही है. तो ये सारे इवेंट्स होने में टाइम लगेगा, दैट इज आफ्टर 3 to 4 days व्हेन द मोड्यूला इज फॉर्म. जैसे ही मोड्यूला फॉर्म हो जाता है, मोड्यूला कब फॉर्म होगा? आफ्टर 3 to 4 days ऑफ फर्टिलाइजेशन. फर्टिलाइजेशन के 3 से 4 दिन बाद मोड्यूला डेवलप हो जाता है. अब ये जो मोड्यूला होगा ये it will enter into the uterine cavity. It will enter into the uterine cavity. This is the morula. Since this is zygote, it undergoes 2 cell stage, then 2 cell division, then again it will go different or several mitotic division to form the 8 to 16 cell stage structure, which is known as morula. This events will take about 3 to 4 days after fertilization. इन सब events में 3 से 4 दिन लग जाएंगे. Now after 3 to 4 days when the morula is formed, this morula enters into the uterine cavity. अब ये जो morula होगा ये uterine cavity में enter कर जाएगा. Now this 16 cell stage will undergo further division to form 16 to 32 cell stage, and now this structure is known as blastula. which is known as blastulation. After entering into the uterine cavity, it will again divide to form to 16 to 32 cell stage known as, and the structure and the complete structure is known as blastula. मतलब फिर से mitotic division हुआ, number of cells increase हुए और जो structure हमें मिलेगा after division is known as blastula. Now what will happen? The rearrangement will occur in this blastula. अब इस blastula में हमें rearrangement देखने को मिलेंगे. Rearrangement will occur, as a result of which the cells which are smaller in size, they will go and arrange themselves in the peripheral region. Which are smaller in size, they will arrange themselves in the peripheral region, and the larger ones are arranged themselves, or they will arrange themselves in the central or in the center, and they will move at a corner or at a end. Now this blastula, which has 16 to 32 cells or blastomeres in it, now they will rearrange themselves in such a way that small cells will arrange themselves in the peripheral region and they form the layer called trophoblast. They form the layer called trophoblast. And the larger ones, the larger cells which are larger in size, they will occupy the central space and they will shift towards the corner in order to form a cavity, a fluid filled cavity, which is known as blastocele. This cavity, which is formed by the inner mass of blastula, by the inner mass of blastomeres of blastula, that is blastocele. This cavity is known as blastocele, which is formed by the inner mass of the blastula. Blastula के जो inner वाले cells हैं वो एक cavity form करते हैं, fluid filled cavity form करते हैं, इसको हम blastocele cavity कहते हैं और इस complete structure को हम बोलते हैं blastocyst. I am repeating. Zygote undergoes meiotic division in order to form 8 to 16 cell structure, which is known as morula. Now this morula is formed after 3 to 4 days of fertilization. It will enter into the uterine cavity. Now it will again undergo meiotic division to form 16 to 32 cell structure known as blastula, which will, now the cells of blastula will rearrange themselves to form the fluid filled cavity inside it, which is known as blastocele cavity, and the complete structure is known as blastocyst. Now this blastocyst, which is formed after the 7th, or we can say the after 7th day of fertilization, it will attach itself with the endometrium lining of the uterus. This will undergo, we have seen that post fertilization is the formation of morula, then the formation of blastula, that is blastulation, then the implantation will occur. Next event is the implantation. Now what is implantation? It is the successful attachment between the fetus, or we can say it is not the fetus, it is a successful attachment between the blastocyst and the uterine wall, or we can say the endometrium lining of uterus. Implantation क्या होता है? To implant, it is the process of implanting or implantation of the successful attachment of this blastocyst with the endometrium lining of uterus. इस प्रोसेस को हम इम्प्लांटेशन कहते हैं. It will undergo implantation, that is this blastocyst, it will form some finger like projections which is known as chorionic villi, that is its tissue. These cells, the cells of trophoblast layer, they will form some finger like projections which will converge with the endometrium lining of uterus. This is uterus, it is having this endometrium lining. This is the blastocyst, it will form some chorionic villi, that is the finger like projection, which will, suppose this is the tissue of blastocyst and this is the endometrium lining, they will converge, they will attach themselves and a network like connections is formed as a result of implantation, and this attachment is termed as placenta. That is, जो ब्लास्टोसिस्ट की ट्रोफोब्लास्ट लेयर होगी वो कोरियोनिक विलाई प्रोड्यूस करेगी, वो फिर कोरियोनिक विलाई जो कि क्या होगी, फिंगर लाइक प्रोजेक्शंस होगी, वो एंडोमेट्रियम लाइनिंग से कन्वर्ज हो जाएगी, एक अटैचमेंट फॉर्म करेगी और उस अटैचमेंट को हम बोलेंगे प्लेसेंटा. दैट अटैचमेंट, दैट इंटरकनेक्शन इज नोन एज प्लेसेंटा, is known as placenta. It is the interconnection or the physical barrier between that attachment is known as placenta. Now it is the physical barrier between the mother and the this blastocyst or the which later form the fetus. Now this placenta, what is the function of placenta? Placenta is useful or it is helpful in exchanging the material, the gases, the nutritive material, or we can say it helps in providing nutrition to the baby or to the fetus. It helps in exchanging the gases between the uterus and the mother. It also helps in exchanging the excretory product from the fetus to the mother. It also provides or it also releases some hormones like estrogen and human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, as well as it is stored with, or we can say glycogen and fat are stored in it. So it provides material to the fetus. So this is the functions which is performed by the placenta. It also acts as a barrier, that is, it allows selective material to enter into the fetus. It does not allow everything to enter into the fetus. It allows only selective material to enter into the fetus. So it acts as a barrier also. So this is the function. These are the functions which is performed by the placenta. Now the implantation has been taken place. Now what will happen? After this, gastrulation will occur. The stage which will come after the blastulation is gastrulation. What will happen in gastrulation? These these layers, that is the cells, these cells will further divide. They will divide and they will rearrange themselves in order to form the 3 layers. These cells will arrange themselves to form the 3 layers in this section, or we can say the gastrulation is the stage where 3 germ layers are formed, known as ectoderm, mesoderm, and the last one is endoderm. We are saying implantation has been taken place. After the implantation, the cells of the blastocyst, they will rearrange in order to form the 3 germ layers. अब 3 germ layers form होगी. These 3 germ layers is known as ectoderm, which is the outermost layer, then the mesoderm, which is the middle one, and the endoderm, which is the innermost layer. That is, these cells have arranged themselves in the form of 3 germ layers. These are those germ layers. Now this process of forming 3 germ layers is known as gastrulation. That is, it is a phase in which cells arrange themselves to form 3 germ layers. Now what is the property or what is the importance of these germ layers? These germ layers will further divide to form the different organs. That is, these germ layers will divide individually. The cells of these layers will divide in order to form the different organs of an individual. Different organs are formed or will be formed by these layers only. So the event which will occur after gastrulation is the organogenesis. Now what is organogenesis? Organogenesis is the formation. Genesis means formation, organs means different organs. Formation of organs from these layers will occur after gastrulation, and the process is known as organogenesis. It is also termed as the post-fertilization event, one of the post-fertilization event. So these are the events which will occur after the fertilization. Hence, as a result of organogenesis की वजह से the fetus will be formed. Now what is fetus? Fetus are that stage of the embryo. It is one of the stage of embryonic development in which we will be able to see the different organs. Different organs and different features are visible to the person So, as a result of organogenesis, fetus is formed. So, these are the post fertilization events. Now, after post fertilization events, what will happen? We are saying that these events are occurring in the uterine cavity, in the uterus. So, the period from fertilization till the birth is known as gestation period. What is gestation period? It is the period from fertilization till the birth is known as gestation period, which consists of 280 days. That is, it consists of 270 to 290 days, or we can say 40 weeks. Now, this is the gestation period, that is the pregnancy. Pregnancy period is also known as gestation period. For maintaining pregnancy or gestation, the hormone which is responsible is progesterone, which is secreted by corpus luteum. Now, what is corpus luteum? This we will discuss when we will take up that menstrual cycle. That in that section we will discuss what is the corpus luteum. So, corpus luteum is responsible for secreting the progesterone, and progesterone in further is responsible for maintaining the pregnancy in the female. Gestation, after gestation, the event which will occur is parturition. What is parturition? The process of giving birth to child is known as parturition. In this, the hormone which is responsible for the parturition is relaxin and oxytocin. Relaxin is secreted by the corpus luteum, and or we can say oxytocin is also responsible for contraction, involuntary contraction which occurs in the, we are saying this is the uterine, which is made up of perimetrium, myometrium and endometrium. This myometrium is muscular in nature. Because of oxytocin, the hormone which is responsible for parturition is oxytocin and relaxin. These two hormones, what they will do? They are responsible for the contraction of this myometrium. This the involuntary contraction in the myometrium start during the parturition because of the secretion of these two hormones, as a result of which the pressure builds up into the uterus, as a result of which the child or the baby is expelled out through the birth canal. This process is known as parturition. After parturition, the female secretes a yellow colored nutritive fluid from the mammary gland. That is, the mammary gland secretes or it produces the yellow after parturition, that is after the delivery, after the birth of a child, the mammary glands of female produces nutritive fluid which is known as colostrum, which is yellowish in color and is rich in nutrition and as well as antibodies, which has to be and which is essential to be fed to the children, to the child or to the baby. It is very important, very we can say very rich and very strong for the, very essential for the baby or for the child, because it consists of many antibodies. So, colostrum is the yellowish fluid, nutritive yellowish nutritive fluid produces by the mammary glands of female. There was a term called amniocentesis. Amniocentesis. What is amniocentesis? This is during the gestation period, there is a technology which is used in order to determine or to detect is any disorder in the fetus. That is there any disorder? We can check this through the technique called amniocentesis, in which the zygote and the fetus, which remains surrounded by the fluid, it also contains the zygote is made up of the chromosomes from its parents, which has been taken from its parent. Now the zygote consists of chromosome, and the fluid around that zygote is also contains that chromosome in some amount. So what happens or what occurs in this process? Some amount of that fluid is taken out, is extracted out from the female's body, from the uterus of the female body, in order to detect any disorder. क्या वहाँ पर कोई डिसऑर्डर है, कि बेबी में कोई डिसऑर्डर तो नहीं है? इस चीज़ को डिटेक्ट करने के लिए, ऐसे कोई डिसऑर्डर ना हो, बच्चे के बेबी के अंदर कोई डिसऑर्डर ना हो, इस चीज़ को डिटेक्ट करने के लिए, देखने के लिए जेस्टेशन पीरियड के दौरान जो डॉक्टर्स होते हैं वो थोड़ा सा लिटिल अमाउंट ऑफ दैट fluid is extracted and they diagnose that fluid. But now what is happening? This is the way in order to detect the disease. Now what is happening? This technology or this technique has been misused, or they are misusing, in order to find the sex of the fetus. Fetus हम बोल रहे हैं कि उस fluid में chromosomes रहेंगे, और उस फ्लूइड को डिटेक्ट, उस फ्लूइड को यूज़ करने से वो ये पता लगा सकते हैं कि उसमें क्या फीमेल के क्रोमोसोम्स हैं या मेल क्रोमोसोम्स हैं, और इससे हम सेक्स डिटर्मिनेशन भी कर सकते हैं. सो दिस प्रोसेस इज बेसिकली मिसयूज्ड इन आवर सोसाइटी. अब इसे मिसयूज, इस टेक्निक का मिसयूज़ किया जा रहा है इन ऑर्डर टू डिटरमाइन द सेक्स ऑफ द फीटस. फीटस का सेक्स डिटरमाइन करने के लिए, जबकि ये सेक्स डिटर्मिनेशन के लिए नहीं था, ये डिसऑर्डर डिटेक्ट करने के लिए ये टेक्निक हमने अप्लाई की थी. सो दिस इज़ ऑल अबाउट द फर्टिलाइजेशन and the post fertilization events. Now these are the events which occur as the male and the female gamete has been fused. Now we will discuss what will happen if the fertilization won't occur. That is, if the ovum which is released from the ovary as a secondary or as the secondary oocyte, if it does not fuses with the sperm, then what will happen? What are the events which will take place if the fertilization won't occur? अगर fertilization नहीं होगा तो कौन से events हमें देखने को मिलेंगे? तो यही events और यह process हम देखेंगे in this section, and the process which is known as menstrual cycle, this we will discuss.